10 years. Come on, New Heart Church. This is absolutely phenomenal. 10 years? Can you believe it?
10 years. 10 years of loving God, 10 years of miracles coming to pass, 10 years of people falling more in love with Jesus, 10 years of faithfulness. Can I just say, on behalf of Earl, myself, Shoreline City, how much we love you.
To Pastors Ben and Jessica Calmer, I love you guys so very much. Who you are to me personally, who you have been to my family, I could not even put it into words.
Two of my favorite people on the entire planet. There is nobody like them. The love that they have for your church, the love that they have for Jesus, and each person they meet inspires my husband and I daily. They are our first call. When something's going on in our life or in our church, they're one of the first people that we call to speak life into the situation, to pray for us, to encourage us. They're our first call when something's happening in our family and we're navigating something in our family, and they're one of our first calls because they love God, because they're real ones. They believe what they say, they live what they preach, and I just want to take a moment to say thank you, Ben and Jess. Thank you for being the type of pastors that are not in it to be a celebrity. Thank you for being the type of pastors that truly love bringing heaven to earth. Thank you for being the type of pastors who I've seen you write checks from your own checkbook to bless and serve the community. Thank you for being the type of pastors that are not in it for any accolades, but that are in it because you love Jesus and you love people. Thank you for not quitting.
But then to watch you over these last 10 years, stay the course, be incredibly faithful, keep putting one foot in front of the other. To transition a church is no easy task. And you guys have done it with grace, you have done it with humility, and I know you've taken some hits, but look at you. You're still standing. And you're standing with faith, and you're standing with hope, and you've got vision for the future. There is no one like y'all. I want to say a huge thank you. Matter of fact, all of Shoreline City wants to say a huge thank you that you have continued to lift up God, love people so well. But Pastors Ben and Jessica, you know this. It's not just about y'all. You guys have been ones that have been celebrating your staff and celebrating your church family from the very beginning. It's been a collective yes. It's been a community, a family that has joined arms and prayed together and given together and sacrificed together to say, we're gonna make sure every story matters. So to the entire New Heart Church family, thank you for your yes. Thank you for valuing people when they walk through the door. Thank you for looking at them eyeball to eyeball. Thank you for being a church family that keeps on tearing down walls and barriers and keeps on inviting people into your heart and into your home. The best days for you, New Heart, are still ahead. And we're thankful for the last 10 years. Shoot, they've been amazing. But let's go ahead and just do a whole nother 110 years, why don't we? And let's just keep making sure every story matters, lifting up the name of Jesus, valuing every person, and making sure we make it on earth as it is in heaven. You guys are a source of light and hope to people all over. Don't stop. We're cheering you on. Congratulations. 10 years, we're just getting started.
I just need you to know we love you, we celebrate you, we honor you, we congratulate you, and I cannot wait to see 10 more years of miracles, 10 more years of marriages coming back together, 10 more years of people finding life-giving community and their lives being changed forever. We love you. Mwah! Happy 10 years.
I remember being 18 the first time I heard Pastor Ben speak in our building and learning he was going to be our pastor. And I just remember thinking, even right there in that moment, oh man, this is going to be good.
All right, here we are.
10 years.
10 years.
10 years in.
For our favorite people ever
On the planet.
on the planet. Pastors Ben and Jess. here we go. We love you guys.
So true.
And today is just the most incredible day.
Pastors Ben and Jess, happy 10 years.
Happy 10 years.
Yes, we love you so very, very much.
Yes.
I was thinking, and I remember after college coming up to Oklahoma, getting a phone call from you, Pastor Ben, and you inviting me for lunch at Zio's. And because I had very little money, I was like, Ben, let's get some pasta. And we sat down and we had an unexpected meeting where literally you talked about becoming the senior pastor of this church in Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow, place I had not been in my 4 years in Oklahoma, and inviting me into this opportunity to be involved in youth.
I was 10 years old when Pastor Ben and Jess came, and the trajectory of my life changed from that point forward.
Yeah.
I would not be the same person I am today if it weren't for their yes. I would not know the purpose for my life. I probably wouldn't believe the purpose for my life was possible even if someone had told me. And obviously, I would have never met my wife without the yes from Pastor Ben and Jess.
Right.
My life looks totally different than it would have.
Well, I remember back when Ben graduated from high school and he left for ORU, his freshman year at ORU. And I remember when he left, I knew in my heart that he wouldn't be back to farm. And in his freshman year at ORU, that fall break, I'll never forget, he brought 22 or 23 kids from ORU to our house, and we were pastoring a little church in Woodall, Illinois. And all those students came, stayed in our little home, and the girls all stayed upstairs and the boys all stayed downstairs. And we had a week of revival at our church, and they conducted all the services. We went to different high schools, a couple colleges, and it was a special time. Realized that Ben was absolutely called to be a pastor. But when he was younger, we started a little church in our home on the farm. And I remember one Sunday morning, Ben looked at me and he said, "Dad, how come we have to get the house all clean, and we have to get all the chairs set up, and we have to get ready for church service? How come we have to do that?" And I remember looking at Ben and I told him, I said, "Because God has called us to do this." And as I look back on that moment, I realized that Ben accepted that fact. What I didn't realize was that one day he and his wife would be preparing a church service on Sunday morning for Miriam and I. And God is full of surprises.
We're so proud of them, and of course we congratulate them on their 10 years of being pastors at the church. They are so good at loving people and caring for people. I like the idea that they are willing to talk to anyone and everyone, especially Jessica. And she just loves on people so well. She's always giving somebody a gift. She's always giving people encouraging words, and Ben too. They both give encouraging words to people so they feel like they're doing well. And they are just such good encouragers. They're good leaders, and they're good at teaching others to be leaders also. So we are just
God knew what he was doing when he put those two together. But I remember the first time that Ben came and preached at New Heart. I knew that Sunday. But what I didn't realize was that a girl born in Texas, raised in Texas, would agree to accept the call
Yes.
to New Heart Church in Oklahoma. Jessica, so proud of you.
Proud of both of them.
Yes.
So we've been at the church 6 years?
6 years.
6 years. We were first here for a summer camp where we were invited by Carissa and Randall to play guitar and keys. And I remember, I know it's silly. I remember the first time meeting Pastors Ben and Jess, they came to rehearsal the first night of camp. And the first time I still remember Pastor, he came in, this was in the backward hat day, so he had the flat bill hat, backwards, black shirt, cut off jeans, and some really colorful New Balance. I was like, those New Balance are really cool. That was the first day. And then I remember him being so leaned in the moment, excited to meet me. I think they had already met you, but yeah, I didn't know what to expect, but he was so excited to meet me. He was like, I brought all my guitar gear in, and he was like, whoa, tell me about this and this. And I was like, this guy really cares. He must know what he's talking about. He must be like, he's so into it. He didn't care about any of the guitar stuff necessarily, but he was so invested in me being there and excited why I was there. And Pastor Jess was the same way. I remember them being just so excited, and I was almost like overwhelmed by like, wow, these people like are really, really excited that we're here.
That's awesome.
Right now. And I remember being so excited, like caught off guard by it, but impressed by it. And over time, looking back on it, like they're always looking for opportunities to speak into someone's life and to call things out of them. And even the first time meeting, even if it's about things that, really don't matter all that much, they're so invested in the person and in the moment. And, from there, it called so much out of us.
It was the whole culture.
It was.
And it was the whole atmosphere of summer camp, youth camp that kind of overtook our lives. And I have language for that now. I didn't have language for it at the time, but I remember thinking when we were there, like, this is like nothing I have ever been a part of or ever seen before. And I thought, wow, okay, all of these people and the way that they're interacting and loving on people and going after the one, and which is language that we use frequently about how we care small for people. We care for the one. That's straight from the heart of Pastors Ben and Jess. And I remember thinking like, wow, this is amazing. And I heard Pastor Ben, he sharing leadership thoughts and of course his preaching. And I remember thinking like, this is crazy. Like, this isn't something we've ever been a part of. And later down the line, what I realized from them, maybe a trademark of Pastors Ben and Jess is the way that they live their life so large.
Yeah.
They live a larger than life life. And after I heard their story, Carissa had shared with me a piece of their story of coming to Oklahoma. And I remember thinking at that time too, they came from Austin to New Heart Church to pastor this church. And I can't imagine what my life would be like now if they hadn't said yes 10 years ago to coming to pastor New Heart Church. My life would be small. I guarantee you that it would be small. They have taught us so much. They have taught us so much just by being who they are. Of course, they intentionally teach us and shape us and love us and call the things out of us, but they have spoken directly to fears that I have. They have spoken directly to the calling on our lives. And we stand right here where we are, not just in position, but not just in position in the church, but in position in our families, in position in our workplace, in position in wherever we stand because of their influence, because they live such a large life. And that's one of many, many, many things that inspire us about them. But
and they're so, again, intentional with how leaned in they are to every moment with every person. They don't take any moment for granted with anyone around them. And because of that, because it's not just our lives that they, it was the first time we had people really like call what God was doing in our lives out of us and speak it over us. And but we weren't the only people, because they had done that with Carissa and Randall, and because they had done that with Adrian and Courtney. They didn't even know, but it was because of the conversations we had with the Mars and the Lees. They were constant because Ben and Jess had called that out of both those couples and other people in the church. we constantly had conversations with them where they were speaking these things over us and they were calling these things out of us. And there's this ripple effect that because Ben and Jess are so in the vision and how they hear from God and how much faith they have, knowing that each and every moment with any person that they're with is special and they lean into it, has this ripple effect where other people experience it and they want to be that for somebody else. And so we're kind of this ripple effect. Our life has been changed. Our family has this incredible life, and we're part of this church because of this vision of truly seeing the one and not trying to look above and beyond that, but truly being in the moment with each and every person.
Happy 10 years, Aunt Jessica and Uncle Ben. I'm so thankful that you guys get to be my pastors and my aunt and uncle. It's so special that I get to go to a church where our whole family's there. It's something that's so surreal. I just think about Sunday mornings when I'm with Grandma and Grandpa and you guys and with Watson, and it's just something that's so special, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. One of the things that I've learned the most from you is specifically Aunt Jessica, how you just, anytime you walk into a room, you're always the one to see the person, and you talk to anyone and everyone, and how you invite people to church. I just think that's so cool, and I've learned from that. Learn from your boldness, because sometimes I'll struggle with that, being like, I don't know what to say, I overthink it. But the way that you just lead and you go in and you love everyone, it's just so inspiring. And Uncle Ben, the thing that I've learned from you is how you are a pastor and how you're a leader and how you're so kind to everyone, but you instruct well, and how you just run the whole church. I think it's so inspiring how hard you work, and how hard you work even when you're not working every day, praying for the church. As your niece, I just love that you prioritize our family, that you make intentional fun moments that are just the best times, and that I'm gonna miss so much when, I'm growing up and gonna be in college, and I'm just gonna miss that time. But I know that I'm gonna cherish it forever, and we're gonna make even more memories. And I always feel so seen. I always feel like I can always come to you guys if I have any advice, and you guys give the best advice.
Their yes before I even started coming to New Heart affected my life. They have a really close community. They said yes to mentorship and to learning, and how they lead, not just from themselves, but from a team. And I actually went to a church that their friends pastored, and I was moving back to Broken Arrow, and because of their close connection and the relationships that they fostered even outside of their circle, brought me to New Heart. And then whenever I came here, it was just like incredible. I was just welcomed in, like I was already part of the family, and the opportunity that surrounded me and everyone that I see walk into this church. They don't just say yes to like being here, they're saying yes to helping us all grow and us all find what that purpose is. And just the environment that they cultivated even before I got here allowed me to walk in and, like you said, just believe in that purpose and then like see it happen. Like people are so excited to see you meet that when you come to New Heart, and that comes straight from our pastors. And so yeah, their yes has definitely changed our lives. They have individually, they have brought us up, but then when we started dating and into our marriage, they have been monumental in helping us have that example, but also just like walking alongside us and willing to be a part of the everyday has been incredible. And I mean, the next 10 years are gonna be insane. They're gonna be awesome because they're still saying yes, and they're the most generous people that we know, the most generous people. Like they're not done yet, so the next 10 years are gonna be amazing. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and from the moment that Pastor Ben and Jess came, you could just see that their heart was for this church to be after exactly what God's vision was. It's fierce and it's unchanging, it's immovable. And the more time I've spent with pastors, the more that's evident in their everyday and every single thing that they do, and in every single thing that they push us to do and be. It all lines up with God's vision. And I just love how immovable that is.
Evan was 9 years old, and I've only been here here just a little bit over a year, but both of us would agree that walking into New Heart, what we felt is the same. The way that Pastors Ben and Jess have made New Heart Church to make people feel believed in and valued, that's still alive and well and on the up and up. It's incredible. For the last 10 years, I know it's been that way. In the next 10 years, I know it will be that way. There's been so many stories similar to ours, and in the next 10, there's gonna be even more, and we're so excited. We could not be more grateful. There's literally no better place to be than New Heart Church, and we love our pastors.
Every conversation with them, our world has gotten bigger.
Yeah.
Every time that we came with a problem, they would help us walk towards a solution. And I'm constantly, the thing that's what I'm so thankful for over 10 years of seeing of their yes over and over and over is that in those 10 years, there's actually thousands of yeses to people.
Right.
There's millions of yeses to believing in people over and over and over.
Right.
And what doesn't get seen from the platform, but does get seen behind the scenes is when there's a yes to someone and the person doesn't say yes back. There's a yes and it falls through, and they've never stopped believing. And I'm sure this is normal for anyone, but in my life, I haven't seen a whole lot of continuing to say yes to people on repeat. With longevity, with faithfulness, and continuing to love like you've never been hurt, and continuing to trust like no one's ever surprised you. And I think over and over, my world has only gotten bigger with every conversation, with every opportunity to see them walk through a difficult situation. The things I prayed for God to show me that I saw in the Bible but I didn't get to see in real life, all of a sudden he showed me in two people who would say how ordinary they are, but who have shown me the extraordinary, incredible power of saying yes to Jesus when it doesn't make sense, and when it only requires faith. And I think that will inspire us over and over and over. And they have our yes for life. We ain't going anywhere. We would move anywhere. We will sell every house. We'll do whatever it takes, because just getting to follow Jesus alongside them and follow their lead has been the greatest gift and made our world so big and so beautiful.
Absolutely. And, speaking of choosing to plant ourselves in this house and say yes to that invitation, I was thinking, you're talking about how pastors and their vision and the culture that they've built has been all about.
It's unreal.
It's incredible, and it leads you to living a bigger life. Courtney, you were saying that a second ago. I was thinking about in me, what that's looked like in me. I remember I've always been a friendly person, and I used to be the kind of person that would make the joke, make the comment, say hello, because I wanted everyone to like me.
Yeah.
But on the other side of all of these, and they do, because I'm incredible. Yeah. But on the other side of all these years planted in this house, in this community, getting the culture not just in my mind, but in my heart. I'm not saying hello to people. I'm not engaging strangers or on a Sunday morning with the hope that everyone will like me. My desire now is that, because I've been so encouraged, now I want to encourage everyone. I want to fill them with courage, letting them know that there can be no lids on their life, that God has more for them, that they can be all that He's meant for them to be. I'm just so grateful to look back at the effect of their yes, and to plant here and be pastors here, that effect on my life, and believing forward on the effect that that's going to have on our children that we're raising in this house, on our friends that we're making in this church, on our community, as we stay planted, as we have the most amazing pastors in the world, and as we keep walking towards what God has next.
Being around Pastor Ben and Jess in the church that they've invested so much time, prayer, heart, grit in, I learned how to have high expectation. I learned how to really trust that Jesus had the best for me. I was literally in a place of questioning if Jesus had something better for me. I didn't know how to trust Him anymore. And just being close and planting in the church, it taught me that I had so much more for my future than what I could have ever imagined.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's crazy. I mean, 2 years ago, I walked in the church and basically their arms were just wide open. I didn't really expect it. And they've walked us through premarital, and going through that with them was just the most life-changing experience. Just being able to like listen to them and what they have for us, just based on their wisdom, what they've walked through, just kind of everything that they had, they were like, here, take it from us. Like, we want to give it to you guys. And I think that's just the most incredible, I find that to be the most incredible things about them. Is just that there's no secrets. They want to give you everything they have. They're like, if we're going through something, they're like, oh, here, we've been through that. Here you go. They're not hiding anything back. And it's just, you don't find it often, but when you do, you don't let it go. You don't let it go.
It's literally crazy to think that we would not be getting married had it not been for both of us planting in this house. That was built when we were like 14 years old, which is crazy. We were, I think back to like my little 14-year-old self, and
who would have thought that we'd be here right now?
But because
at New Heart,
literally because they were cultivating this ground.
It's incredible to be able to just like sit here and realize that like what they're doing now is going to be affecting the next 10 years. Like it's going to be for everyone's in the churches, their kids, and like our kids. Like it's insane. And so I think it's awesome to be able to sit here and love on the people who deserve it the most. I think it's realistically like we don't all get to see the background of like what they go through on the daily basis of cultivating this community that we have at this church. It's really, you don't find it really that many places, but when you do, you don't leave.
It's crazy.
You don't leave. It's just the best.
It's just a beautiful story of really honestly who they are to their core 10 years down the road. The same person that came in 10 years ago and loved every person that they met and wanted to be in every conversation and meet people. They're the exact same people.
The exact same.
Now.
Yeah, it's wild to think how quickly 10 years has gone by. And when you actually look back, there's so much life to celebrate. Because you were 18, you had just graduated, you started the internship. I was actually living in Colorado, and I had a really great friend of mine call and tell me that, hey, there's these amazing pastors at this church called New Heart. You need to be here. And I was like, what? Like, I'm living in Colorado. I'm good. I don't need to move back to Oklahoma. Like, I'll be fine. But as time went by, my friend just kept saying, like, I really think you're supposed to be here. There's an internship you're supposed to be a part of. I didn't even know you yet. I didn't know anybody. But I just kept hearing about Pastor Ben and Pastor Jess and this internship and how I needed to be there. And so eventually I was like, you know what? I think maybe so. And I remember getting on the phone, Pastor Ben and Jess, and realizing, I remember talking to them and they were like, yeah, there's definitely a place for you. I was in Colorado.
Yeah.
And they were like, they didn't even know me. They were like, yeah, there's absolutely a place for you. When can you be here? And for me, that was just like, I remember in that moment, I didn't know them yet, so I probably tried to play it a little cool on the phone.
Yeah.
But I remember just like being so overcome with emotion. Like, these people who don't even know me want me to be a part of what they're doing. And that changed everything for me.
Yeah.
I put in my resignation in Colorado and I moved home to go to a church that I had never heard of, and to serve and learn from pastors that I had never met before. But I just knew that God was going to do something incredible. I could feel it. And just their willingness in their heart to be like, yeah, come home, be here. This is exactly who they are today. Like, I remember walking in and feeling so seen for the very first time is what it felt like. I felt really seen and really encouraged. And what captivated me right away, they started speaking purpose over my life. They started pouring out vision like I'd never heard before. And it was like, when you hear something real for the first time and you just know in your soul it's true. That's what it was like. I was like, this is what I've been. I didn't know it then. I probably couldn't have named it then.
Right.
But it was like what I was desperate for my whole life was being like spoken over me and just poured into me in every single moment. And it changed everything.
It does. Then I remember thinking like, man, I want to be a part of something.
Yeah.
And then you start to be a part of something, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So if you're in the room and you're like, I want to be a part of something.
Yeah.
Be a part of something.
Yeah. Just be. Yeah.
Because the same heart is still there. The
Absolutely.
same, like, they were so hungry for the one and for us individually, and that is become the heart of our church. The heartbeat of what we do is like, who needs to be here? Who else needs to be here? Who needs to hear this good news? Like, how can we get the kingdom to be larger? How can more people come to know Jesus and come into this space? And that is who they are to their core. It always has been. And it's beautiful the way that they've helped duplicate that, so that because it's not sustainable on two people, right? But they just gave their life away and gave everything they could to help grow leaders and grow people, so that all of these people could do the exact same thing. And
you know, they walk into a room and they're not like, here I am. Like, they're so, there you are. They're like, you walk in, they can't wait to meet you. I know you guys have felt that too. That first moment coming to New Heart. But that's how they've been since day one. That's how they are now. It's how we're going to be for the next 10 years, because we know that God's not done yet. And there's so many more people that we believe and we know are supposed to be here and that need to know exactly what Randall and I found out when we were so young. And that's all because of Pastor Ben and Jess and their leadership and this church being here and their sacrifice and investment over the last 10 years to making sure that this church was here. Has absolutely changed our life forever. And it's so hard, you know, when you think about like huge things in life and you're trying to think about, how do I say thank you?
There's not enough words for it.
I actually don't know that we know how, but I do know that we're a church that values honor, and our pastors are so deserving of honor and gratitude, because without you guys, we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't have this. And I know you guys would instantly say it's because of the Lord, and we totally know that that's true too, but your faithfulness to God has made a way for so many of us, and for Randall and I personally, we can't thank you enough.
Because of the faithfulness that's been poured in, and because of the yes of our pastors, is just gonna be incredible. So honestly, it's time to buckle up, get ready, because we're going for it.
We're ready. We're so ready. It's gonna be awesome. Pastor Ben and Jess, we love you so much.
We love you.
We are endlessly grateful for you. And your yes and your lean in, and the way that you constantly put God first, put heaven first, put prayer first in every single moment as you pastor and lead this church. It is an honor to follow you, and we're ready for the next.
Come on.